been murdered. All the friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. And the bird said nevermore.
You're listening to the Call Podcast with Brandon and Josh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of The Call. It is a Baltimore Ravens podcast where we talk anything and everything Baltimore Ravens football. Thank you all for listening to us on all of your favorite podcast platforms, especially Overcast. And we are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Purple Friday time on a bye week. I guess the best thing about this Purple Friday, no chance of losing this Sunday. I guess we should say that.
My joke. I was going to say there might be a chance the Ravens lose and they don't play a football game. Oh, bro. By the way, great job on the wake-up call this week. Yeah, my lady, now my fiance for you. Special guest. I like these little special recurring guests you have here. You have a theme. Who's your next guest lined up on the wake-up call?
Oh man, I don't know. We got some big stuff coming up this weekend, so I think I might have a plethora of people on the next wake-up call. So stay tuned for that. Keep it in the feeds.
Stay tuned. Ugh, I don't know if that's good or bad. Speaking of bad, this football team continues to be bad. In many ways, more than we can imagine. Here we are, yet again, man. The bye week blues, and the Ravens still have one win.
I don't think this is the record or the season anybody thought that the Ravens would have heading into the bye week. To be 1-5, I mean, I didn't expect them to go in undefeated, but I definitely didn't expect it to be 1-5. This is definitely not the season that the Ravens thought it would be. The fans thought it would be. I never thought we'd see the day where John Harbaugh would be getting booed out of the home stadium. This has definitely been a bumpy road as we move through the bye week. But we say this every single year. I don't think the bye week could have come at a better time. This is the perfect time for the Ravens to sit back, reset, figure things out, and let people heal up.
Yeah, they have a lot to figure out, and they got to quickly get it together. I had a chance to really take it all in this week, right? It's bye week. We finally get a break from the madness for a little bit. And if you haven't been paying attention to the national side of the media things here, there's some folks out there, one named Cam Newton, who's in the Ravens' corner. He still believes, with all the odds against them, the Ravens can still make a run at the playoffs. And he was looking at their schedule, and he's like, look, Roquan and Lamar supposedly come back after the bye week. You get healthy, you get right. Hopefully we'll have Patrick Ricard and everybody else coming back. And they have weak opponents. And when you look at weak, and look, I heard him out on the show. He was on First Take doing that, man. But I don't know. Because as you've seen it with the NFL, coming off of the week 6, where nothing in the NFL makes sense, right? Like, think about it, right? Look, and the Carolina Panthers have a great record this year, right? They're balling out, but the Carolina Panthers beat this past week, right? They beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-0. Then the Falcons go turn around on Monday Football and beat the Buffalo Bills. The same Carolina Panthers just beat the Dallas Cowboys. Also, the New York Giants on Thursday last week took it to the Philly Eagles. Like, took it to them without their top 2 receivers. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, look, I know the Niners lost, obviously, to the Buccaneers, but look at the Buccaneers, dude. Look at the landscape in the NFL. Baker Mayfield is down 3 top receivers and is starting running back, and they still won the game.
Hey, Baker Mayfield's making a run for the MVP this year. And
he should get it right now. If the season stopped today, Baker Mayfield is your 2025 MVP, hands down the league. Dude's a machine. And he's showing you why he's valuable. But then on the flip side, you could go, we make the case for Lamar. Well, here's the thing. Ravens are averaging like 6 points without Lamar and like well under 300 yards of offense. we get the value part, right? We get Lamar makes this offense go around and they score points and they get yards. We get that. But just in terms of sheer MVP-like performance, my point is a lot of other teams are dealing with injuries and not only the injuries, but like the weird play. Like you don't know. And my point is this, with the Ravens schedule coming up, yeah, you can sit there and start check marking off like, oh, they might get this one, they might get this one. Who really knows? Because the Ravens aren't good themselves. They can't seem to put a full game together. The only complete game that they really had was their lone win against the Browns, where they turned around from the Bills debacle, and they turned around and had a dominant performance. We thought everything was going to be great. And then everything just got worse, injuries included. But I got to unpack this, bro. I know you talked about it on the wake-up call a little bit about the Philly play and all that, but like here it comes. Here, I don't know if you heard that.
Even on a bye week, we're getting death slams.
That sounds. I have to because what was that? Ravens. I called it the Be More Bum Rush, and emphasis on bums because how do you not yeah. I'm going there. How embarrassing. The game hung in. Actually, the Ravens very much could have won this game. With all the craziness going on with the injuries and the backups, bro, they had an opportunity to. The Rams weren't really doing anything. Credit to the Ravens defense. They forced the turnover last week, got it right. And all of a sudden, like, you go there and line up and do this goofy play, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, tush push tried to execute what Philly does once, then they do it twice, then they can't punch it in. They could have went up 10-3. I had to get off my chest. That was like the breaking point for fans on last Sunday at the game. Like it was kind of like fans were just beside themselves after that. They were like it's again with the turnovers, Zay Flowers and the interception, they're getting in their own way. Turnovers, the inability to punch it in the end zone. I just want to touch on this. Couple bright spots, right? Derrick Henry was running beautifully last week, had over 100 yards. They finally started running the football again, got that memo. And the fact that the defense kind of still, they stepped it up, despite everything. The whole because I thought the Rams are going to just go crazy after what they let the Texans do. But again, I know they didn't have Hamilton and Marlon in there, and maybe those guys actually helped it and provide a boost. But Brandon, I feel like they got to lick their wounds on the bye week. They got to look in the mirror and get this right. The room for error is thin. The room for error, I mean, it's so thin. I don't even you can see the thinness. It's so thin. Can't even measure it. It's so thin.
Yeah, it's. I talked about it on the wake-up call on Monday, but this wasn't the defense's worst game against the Rams, so it looks like they might be heading in the right direction. It was Derrick Henry's best game since Buffalo. I mean, that's good, heading in the right direction. Again, why you don't use him instead of a tush-push twice, I mean, I guess you can say you can Monday morning quarterback that, but whatever, it is what it is. I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I'm wondering if QB2 is still going to be up in the air, if we are going to see Snoop Huntley as the backup, or if they are going to pay Cooper Rush to do his thing. I thought it was interesting that John Harbaugh said that they were originally going to plan to go back and forth with both guys throughout the entire game, but things were looking good with Cooper Rush throughout the first half, which they were. I'll give him that. But is it enough to have him be a solid QB2? But hopefully we won't have to worry about that. Moving forward, it looks like it's going to be Lamar, Roquan, Pat Ricard, all returning to go up against the Chicago Bears. But that's even interesting now. I mean, everybody was kind of saying, like, even I said it, is this a good spot for the Ravens to feel good about themselves again, to come out against a team that hasn't been playing great football in the Chicago Bears? However, look what just happened on Monday night this week. They went out and they beat the Commanders. If you remember last year, they had an embarrassing loss against the Commanders, and it began the spiral of the Chicago Bears season. They were kind of able to work their way back and win that game on Monday night against the Commanders. So, like, the Bears, right out the gate after the bye, yes, they have the Saints coming up this Sunday, but they're not going to be a slouch. They're not going to be a pushover team coming off a win against the Commanders like they did. They've shown that they can hang on Monday night. So the Ravens, there are no gimme games. The Chicago Bears is not going to be a gimme game coming out of the bye, but having guys back like Roquan and Pat Ricard and Lamar Jackson, having those guys back on the field will definitely give the Ravens a leg up.
It will. They can take any help they can get at this point. The fact that remains is, yeah, the schedule's soft, but to your point, they gotta win the games. The Bears did put up a valiant effort in coming away to victory, this past Monday night in Washington. So, nothing's to say that you can just show up after the bye on M&T Bank Sunday on this last home game of this homestand and just expect to think, okay, well, because it's Caleb Williams and the Bears, like, they're coming in right now before they play. They're coming in with they stand at 3-2 prior to this weekend's games. Like, they have a winning record. Like, if you look at the records, obviously you would think they would be a complete opposite. But no, the Bears, and then they got to travel to Miami right after that on a short week on Thursday Night Football. Then they got a long bye week. Technically, you got the 11-day layoff, but then you go to Vikings. So the Ravens have a bye week. They have that one home game, and then they're on the road for 3 straight before they play right now the lowly Jets. I think apart from the Ravens, the Jets are just about lower than the Ravens. Like,
that's not a surprise, though.
Right, but the Jets will for my buddies listening, I'm not going to do the full thing to save you, but I'm like, hey, you got to do a Jets chant, right? J-E. No, it's good. Mike, we love doing the Jets chant in our group chat. Don't ask why. I don't know why, but it's fun. Got to participate. But yeah, it's actually pretty funny in our Ravens group chat. For some random reasons, we just start doing a Jets chant out of nowhere. Don't ask why. It's fun though. But yeah, that display on Sunday was just atrocious. Like, you go get the 4th down and then run the clock out in the first half, and they had under 100 yards of total offense. It was just atrocious, man. Like, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, the schedule's soft. Like, you look at the opponents, like, before these weekend's games go, because obviously we just had we're not really concerned about Bengals Steelers right now because that's the meat of the AFC North divisional games are after the Jets. But just looking at the snapshot leading up to that Jets game, right? And there's bye weeks for these teams in there, but you have the Dolphins who right now hold a 1-5 record, same as the Ravens. The Vikings have a winning record right now at 3-2. The Browns are tied with the Ravens and the bottom feeders of the AC North at 1-5 right now. Obviously, records going to change before all these games happen, and the Bears currently sit at 3-2. So that just shows you, like, the quality of opponents. Regardless of record, we get any given Monday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday night. No matter when they play. The problem is you can't take these games lightly. Yeah, you can start checking them off, Brandon, but I don't think so. I think the Ravens have to really get right because they're not a confident bunch. There's questions that's swirling around play calling, coaching, all the way up from up top, all the way through the ranks. The players, the inability to get fired up. Like, I'm watching the games over the weekend, and I'm like, even the Falcons game on Sunday against the Bills, I'm like, Falcons players look ready to go and fired up. Even and again on Monday night, the Bears, like, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't know if you really do a deep dive in the NFL, but, like, I implore you. You talked about the Bears and the Hail Mary and their season unraveling after that in Washington, and then they went back to Washington, and this time they got the win. But I implore you, if you'd like to do some homework, look at Bears highlights on offense from last season. And then look at the highlights from last night, or not last night, just say this past week's Monday night game against Washington. I told my dad I was watching the game. Ben Johnson right now is the head coach of the Bears, right? He came from Detroit, the old offensive coordinator, which obviously they had Brown and Goff and Thunder Lightning with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm watching DeAndre Swift move through that offense and catch passes and the way the offense clicked. And I was like, you don't think that has Ben Johnson's thumbprints all over it? Like, it coaching, man. What I'm getting at is the Ravens, for some reason, do not look energized or prepared or ready to go at all. Like, I'm not confident heading after the bye. I mean, yeah, they're getting healthy, but they're going to line up against the Bears, and I'm kind of like, again, I'll sit here on the podcast this week, I'll be like, I'm going to predict the loss. Show me what you got, because I don't see a path to victory until you show me a path to victory. And yeah, the score was 17-3 this past week, but I felt like it was worse than that because the team, again, 3 turnovers. Zay Flowers coughing up the ball twice, can't punch it in the end zone. The Ravens take a 10-3 lead last week. The dynamic of the game changes. The energy in the stadium probably gets crazier. The team's got the confidence. They got the lead against the Rams at home with backups. Let's go. And then, but you can see, like, they didn't punch into the end zone. And then Zay Flowers, you can see how, like, the bad stuff just starts to pile on, right? Like, it happens that way. Just like the Buffalo game. Henry fumbles, leads to a Bill score, and then it was like everything. Like, the Ravens forget to call plays to close out the game. It's like everything cascades after one mistake. It isn't like they make one mistake and then don't flinch. They flinch and then they like bend the other way. It's kind of like, they give up or they panic. I want this team with some resiliency, man. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the mediocrity. I'm sick of getting on here and just, it's the same old Brook. Like, I don't know, man. We'll see if they can win or train right. Like, dude, it's bad. Bad all the way around. And, it's thick or thin. We got to support them, do or die. But my goodness, bro, it's, I don't have the answers. I'm sure you don't, but it's just tough. It's tough to navigate because they're wasting an opportunity and a window here for a championship. And if they come away with only 3 or 4 wins this year and it's all for nothing, what's going to happen with the makeup of the team next offseason? That is going to be huge because major changes are going to come.
And that's the thing, too. I don't want if there's a chance for more football later on down the road, obviously I want that. So I don't want to throw in the towel on this season. But the road to the playoffs, it is one that is not paved in any way for the Ravens. They have definitely, there's a lot of potholes that they've already hit. You've got your axles coming off of your car at this moment right now. So,
it's rough.
I think, yeah. So it is something. I don't want them to throw away the season and just hope for next year. But at the same time, I don't know how they get out of this hole. Like, they have to go for the division and they have to win the division. Like, that seems to be the only way in right now. And you're talking about, like, let's look at the schedule. You've got the Bears coming up. You say dub, Dolphins dub, Vikings L, Cleveland dub, Jets dub, Bengals dub, Steelers. You can say, all right, so which one? That one is at home. So let's say that's a dub. Bengals, you can hope for a dub there. Patriots, they're going to give you a hard time now.
Right now lead the AFC East.
Yeah.
As we record this week.
They might not be Brady-led Patriots, but they're making a comeback of being a threat again. So that one could be a loss right there. The Packers, that could be a loss. And then, Week 18, as much as we want to say we're not gonna play the starters and we're gonna hope for the best and you just want to get away without any injuries, it could all come down to Week 18. It really could. It could be the Steelers versus the Ravens for the AFC North Week 18. So you've got very little wiggle room. If they don't get a W these first couple weeks, if they don't stay through mid-December and they're not undefeated, then there's a good chance that this season is all for naught and they won't be making the playoffs. So that's something that we really have to think about. And, I mean, we saw Joe Flacco on Thursday night up against Aaron Rodgers in prime time on Amazon Prime. And who would have thought you'd be seeing that in prime time in 2025? But you've got Joe Cool coming back to Baltimore on Thanksgiving night in prime time again. He's going to face his former team 3 times this year, and he's gone so many years without coming back to Baltimore since he left, but now he's got a chance to play 3 times against the Baltimore Ravens.
Could you imagine? By the way, I know we didn't mention it last show because it kind of got lost in all the madness that is the Ravens right now, but yeah, like obviously we know Joe Flacco got traded last week from the Browns to the Bengals. Did you hear Tomlin's remarks on that?
Yeah, he was not happy. He was not a happy guy. Harbaugh was asked about that, and Harbaugh was like, I haven't really thought about it. But, Tomlin
has something to say about it. He thought about it. He says here, It doesn't make sense to me to trade a QB you think enough to make your opening day starter to a divisional opponent. I agree 100% with Coach Tomlin on this one. Steelers or not, I agree with it, man. It makes no sense. It's like I can understand if Joe was like a free agent and was looking to play again. It's like it's like what do you do, right? And it's like the Browns were like, oh, let's try the Joe experiment. It's not working out. We're going with the Rook. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to the divisional opponent. And they don't care. And it's their in-state divisional opponent of that. Like, they could care less. That's the Browns for you. But that is cool, though. We don't get Burrow, but how about a Thanksgiving night game and we get Joe Flacco around, too? And he's got better weapons around him. Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought in 2025 Joe Flacco's throwing passes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Come on, man.
I did not have that on my bingo card.
Stop it. Like, did you see the meme that floating around online that said, like, they had Joe Flacco wearing the Thanos gauntlet, and it was the only thing was missing was the Steelers gem. It said, Joe Flacco's got 3 out of 4 AFC North teams for the gauntlet. It's like, yeah, now next watch Tomlin says that, and then next thing you know, Joe Flacco's going to end up backing up Rodgers or something like that.
If
Joe
cannot wear the black and gold.
No, Joe,
don't
don't.
That happen.
No, yeah, let's prevent that stone from being acquired.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, I thought it was coming. But yeah, man, like nothing makes sense this year. The Ravens are upside down. Joe Flacco's a Bengal when he started a Brown. I don't get I just don't get anything that's going on right now. But as we know, Ravens do got some guys coming back next week. We need the rest this week. I think the fans need the rest. I think everybody's just sick and tired of just the agitation and the aggravation and the frustration of what is going on. It just seems like there's a new adventure every other Sunday. They're like, hey, Ravens going to do it this week, and then they again 3 turnovers and the inability to punch it in on like what is probably the 4-foot line. Like it wasn't even probably. It was like they were just outside the yard. I think they were probably 2 feet away at that point. Like they were literally. I saw the ball. I'm like, it couldn't get any closer to the goal line without being a touchdown. And they got to get their act together and quickly. Mind you, we can talk about schedules and what could be wins and what could they do, but the stats are stacked against them that they tie their worst franchise start at 6 games at 1-5. There has only been 4 NFL teams out of 358 that started 1-5 or worse and made the playoffs. 4 of 358. Like, you have a 1% chance of making the playoffs. 1%. And I hear all the Dumb and Dumber quote. Oh, you're saying there's a chance. Oh, well, there's a chance, all right. It's not 0, but it ain't 50. It ain't 75%. It isn't 90%. It's not 99%. It's 1%. Take it for what it is heading into what now would be week 8 of the NFL in their 7th game. Yeah. And they were tied for the Bills as Super Bowl favorites, as odd-on favorites, week 1. Look how far they've fallen. 1% chance to make the play. Like, it's just, this is the state of the Ravens in 2025, bro. Like, take it or leave it. This is ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I hope they come off this bye week with some rest and some vigor and some fire, and they show it. Look, I've always said before, if they lose in a valiant effort and give effort and make the proper call, I'll give them that. Am I asking them to be perfect? No, because there's no team that's perfect out there. But stop with the turnovers, execute the plays, and when there's a scoring opportunity that's in front of you, especially on the goal line on the 1 or less, you got to punch it in. You're an NFL team. I don't care if Cooper Rush or Tyron Huntley's leading the charge as quarterback. You still got Derek freaking Henry in the backfield. Give him the pill and run the rock into the end zone. Like, enough's enough. Like, one tush push I can get away. That whole second one, I was like, y'all, what are you doing? Like, it was embarrassing. And that showed you, right? I kind of now want to disagree with the banning of tush push because apparently there's only one team can run it. Isn't like every team can do it and you can ban it all you want. Like, one team can do it correctly now. Ravens kind of showed you why. They can't do it. That was embarrassing. I never want to see highlights of that again.
And we're
So
talking about
gotcha.
the players resting up in the bye week and everything like that. We need to see more from the coaching.
Yes.
John Harbaugh looks tired. He looks sad. He looks defeated in all of his press conference footage. He looks like a guy that he feels like he's lost the season as well. I'm hoping this week that he himself and Zach Orr and everybody on the coaching staff, everybody takes this week to reevaluate and kind of realize things haven't been working well. And they haven't been working well for a while. Why is that? And how do we figure out how to motivate these players and how to call the right kind of plays?
They got to.
They're not doing it. They're not calling anything. They're not making adjustments at halftime. They are just doing. I mean, they went for the tush push twice.
Yeah.
1 yard line, and you can't get it in there when you have Derrick Henry on your team. What is going on there? Why aren't you going for it? Why aren't you putting it in Derrick Henry's hands to get that 1 yard? Doesn't make any sense to me.
As you said, doesn't make sense to me either. Nothing makes sense. We'll see what happens. They get rested and ready to go. Prove us wrong. They come out flying against the Bears and come away with a victory, and there's 2 wins. I get it, right? You roll off 4 straight here. You know, it can happen. You get to 500, who knows, right? But it all starts with 1, and I know it could be a domino effect and a momentum swing, but, like, the belief has to be there. And fans can fantasize about that all they want, but I'm like, look, right? Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns. You win 4 straight, and then you come home and play the Jets in the middle of November, right before Thanksgiving. And now you're talking, okay, you're 500 playing the Jets at home. Then you stay home for 3 straight, pretty much Jets, the Bengals on Thanksgiving. Then you got a long rest, and then you play the Steelers at home. You know, like, yeah, I get it, right? I mean, they can claw their way back and all that, but the hole's already been dug, and they're pretty much, it's more than 1 foot in the grave. It's like 1 foot and a lot of other body parts, and they're just barely hanging on to the side of that grave. They're trying to hold on for dear life. I mean, again, 1% chance to make the playoffs. You know, just go out and win a game. Win 1, win 2. It'll start stacking. Stack wins. But, yeah, I get it. There's 17 of these things, and they've only played 6. And, you know, hey, Josh and Brandon, try not to lose your minds. Like, but the state of the Ravens, like, you got to watch the games. It isn't just like looking at the record, looking at the schedule. I'm like, okay, they really much have to run the table. Again, if they're going to go 10-7, that's 1 loss the rest of the way. The whole season. The whole thing. They're 1-5. Yeah, that's 2 losses. Sorry, I'm thinking 1-6. I keep thinking that bye weeks. I'm looking at the weeks of the schedule and not counting the bye week. I keep looking at weeks and counting games. I got to stop doing that. I just did it again. I'm like, over here, I'm like, no, that's the math on math. Because they got 5 losses currently on the bye week, and 10-7 would be 2 losses. So they can only lose 2 games all the rest of the year. Maybe those 2 losses will be one the Steelers and Packers. Who knows? At the end of the year, I don't know. But it would be unprecedented if we sit here and we go back and eat our words when we're all talking trash and 1% laughing and blah, blah, blah. And then we come here in like December and we're like, Ravens are at 500 or the 1 game over. And then we're going to sit here and be shocked. But I implore the Ravens. Wouldn't that be awesome if they shocked us all and just turn this thing around unprecedentedly?
I'd be happy with that. I'd be fine with
we'd
it.
all be
Do it.
excited. But that would just be the talk of the town. Like, imagine that. But look, it's not a lost cause, and I'm not trying to sound preachy and drinking the Kool-Aid. But look, you know, you got to start 1 game at a time. But, you know, yeah, it's doable, but I wouldn't bank on it. Because the team is just, they're a train wreck. And it seems like every time they try something to get it together, like it started to work last week. The run game and the defense forced a turnover, and then Zay Flowers got the fumbleitis from Derrick Henry and Lamar coughing up the football. And then Cooper Rush, right on cue when I said it in the stadium, I said, if they pass the ball today, they're going to lose. And what did Cooper Rush do? Because I said, run the football, let him pass less. What did he do? Like 3 pass plays into the game. Third or fourth attempt, interception. I put my arms in the air and was like, that's what I'm talking about. And then they put Huntley in, trying to get a spark. And I'm like, why wasn't he in the whole game? Because apparently it's Lamar Jr. running around out there, like making plays, it was doom and gloom, and he started running around, and they tried to get it in the end zone at the end. And it's just like the effort is just half-hearted, I feel. And we're not in the meeting rooms, we're not in the weight rooms, we don't know what these players are doing and feeling and talking about. But again, we're seeing it evidence on the field, and fans are showing you this support, right? Tickets are going for dirt cheap. People leaving early, the stadium's half full. The energy's not there, and support's not there. Like, I knew people that when they didn't get scored at the first half last Sunday, up and left. The whole row got up, done. Like, people.
It's been a long time since I've seen that stadium that empty during an October game.
Long time.
Yeah.
You just got to get it right, and it starts at the top of coaching. Harbaugh's got to, whatever he's got left, whether this will be his last ride here or this will be it for him, or I don't know what the future holds, right? But I feel like he's on the clock. Without somebody really officially coming out and saying it, he's got to be on the clock. And I implore him, get this team prepared and get ready. Players respond accordingly. Go out there, touch the sign. Not touch the sign, but read the sign for what it is. Play like a Raven. Go out there and find some fire. I don't know if you have to go watch some Ray Lewis clips or some Ed Reed clips to get fired up and remember what it's like, but why don't they do that in meetings? Or, hey, I know Ray could just come speak to the team himself, but, like, why don't you just go out and watch his speeches on YouTube like we all do, and then ready to jump through a brick wall, man? Like, let's go. Like, if I need a jolt, I just go listen to one of his videos, and I'm ready to suit up for him on Sundays, man. It's Ray. Go out and motivate. This team's unmotivated, and with every mounting loss and every mistake that happens in the game, it's getting worse. So, bro, we'll see what happens after the bye week, man. But the collective, it's certainly not up to snuff, not up to standard for by any means of what we expected, right? Super Bowl bust. A lot of folks are imploring that, including myself. But we sit here on the bye week covering it, man. Not one loss. We wish it was one loss. One win in the NFL. Dude, the Jets are 0-6 and the Ravens are 1-5. They're one game better than the Jets record-wise. Just let that marinate for a while. It's the Carolina Panthers have a better record. The Minnesota Vikings have a better record with all their quarterback. They're on Wentz, man. Like, Wentz looked horrible in that London game a couple weeks ago. Like, it's just unreal. Like, the Baltimore Ravens just can't get out of their own way, and it just gets worse.
Did you see, by the way, speaking of London, that our own Camden Yards has been transformed into a football field because the LA Rams are staying in Baltimore before they head to London, and they're practicing at Camden Yards. They've got 2 mini football fields out there on Camden Yards at the ballpark. It's been a little weird to see, the lines going down the field at Camden Yards, but they're staying in Baltimore. LA Rams didn't want to make the trip back west just to head all the way back out to London, so staying in Baltimore and practicing at the baseball field.
Shout out to Baltimore and the Orioles for some hospitality on that, taking care of the Rams. I did implore a joke in here that I would say the Rams just beat the Ravens, just make themselves right at home. They just putting their feet up in Baltimore for the week. They're like, yeah, just chilling. Took care of the Ravens. The Ravens were on their bye week. Now the Rams are just doing their thing, man. But no, shout out to the Orioles organization for making that happen and accommodating the LA Rams. Look, that's just hospitable and the right thing to do. I love the fact that they did that. Apparently, there was some negative fan reaction to why. I have no idea because people are just entitled to their weird opinions sometimes. But, like, what's the point? The Orioles, the stadium ain't being used. The Rams are traveling overseas. You have a team fly at 3,000 miles the other way to fly, like, what? I don't know how far it is from L.A. to London. I'm sure ChatGPT can help me with that, but I'm sure it's probably 10,000 miles or something ridiculous or close. So, but yeah, that just don't make sense. So kudos to the Orioles for opening up their house here at Orchard Park Camden Yards for the Rams to, be able to practice and prepare for the Jaguars. They're playing the Jaguars on Sunday in London. So the international games continue. I don't know if this is the last one in the series, but Jacksonville, it seems like they play most of the games over there. So remains to be seen, my friend. And speaking of London, I ask you, and I know our good buddy Dave Rivers would be ecstatic about this, but with the news coming with WWE moving one of the WrestleManias to Saudi Arabia, and I know we've had some things to say about that, there has been chatter, nothing any official or anything like that, but there's been threatening rumors and chatter on the interwebs here that the NFL could possibly look into a international site for Super Bowl. What do you think about that?
I mean, everything points to them going more international. They have more international games than ever. You know, they've got down in Brazil and Germany, and they've done Dublin and London. I think it would only make sense that you would be able to go international for the Super Bowl. I think there's definitely coming. They want to appeal to a more international audience. It's one of the reasons why Bad Bunny is also the halftime performer for this year's Super Bowl. So, I think it's definitely in the cards. It's going to happen. What year or what time do you think it will happen? I'm not sure about that, but it's going to be a bidding war. You know, whoever's got the most amount of money, whatever city wants to do that, that's who's going to get it. I mean, that's how WrestleMania is showed up and will be in Saudi Arabia next year. It's why Washington, D.C. got John Cena's last match, because Boston was outbid for it. So it all comes down to money. And if London wants a Super Bowl, and I assume that they would, I see it happening.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. But hey, whichever way it shakes out, it's going to be pretty good, man.
So, Josh, it's a bye week. We've already talked for a good chunk of time. Even on a bye week, we got lots to say. Have we covered everything for this episode of The Call?
We certainly have, man. Absolutely. Let's rest up this week. At least we don't have to get wound up for any shenanigans the Ravens are going to put us through this week. And see what they got for the Bears. Let's hope they come out prepared and practice and ready to go. But with that, this edition has been closed with darkness there. And certainly it is dark, everybody. I see when I do that, I always mess up. With darkness there and nothing more. See? Quote the Raven. Never mo.
All right, everybody, if you'd like to continue the conversation with Josh or I, you can. Check us out over on Facebook, facebook.com/thecallpodcast. Like us over there. Whenever a new show comes out, you'll be the first to know. You can also be social with the show. Write us an Apple Podcast review. Rate us over on Spotify. Let everybody know on social media. Say, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I listen to The Call, and you should too. So that is pretty much it for the show this week. Josh, take us out the way you always do.
Appreciate you, Brandon. Thank you so very much, everybody. We know it. It's the state of the Ravens. It is dark and gloomy. It's comical at times. It's circus-like. It makes you laugh. It makes you frustrated. Some people are like, point out, they're like, my buddy Mike's like, all I can do is just laugh at this point. Like, they're just laughable. I was joking out of the game coming out. I was like, the circus is coming to town. Do. And Brandon, I got a joke for you, though. I was going to save it to the end. I came up with a joke.
Uh-oh.
The Baltimore Ravens and Chick-fil-A closed on Sundays.
Oh, that hurts.
It does hurt. It does hurt. Ravens hurt my feelings, man. This is disappointing. But let's hope, and the word is hope. The word of the year is hope right now, or the season. And Christmas is, they always say, the season's of perpetual hope. That's what they said in Home Alone anyway, right? Well, we're in the season of hope right now. We got to hope the Ravens can just do something right. Do something right in a winning effort. Whether it's correct play calling, execution, not turning the ball over, coaching. Let's just do something right. I can't wait to see what the Ravens have in store for us after the bye week, but boy, do we all need the rest, Ravens included. They're hurting, and they're longing for a win. It seems to elude them, but it's their own fault. They just continue to make the mistakes that football teams cannot do. They had opportunities to win these games and can't. And the fact remains is the Ravens sit at one win, and the bye week's going to come and go, and they're going to start playing these games again, and they got to get it right very quickly. If not, they're going to be looking at a top 10, top 15 draft pick and a losing effort in the season. So we definitely don't want that as Ravens fans. It's not to the standard. It's not up to snuff as we know it. But hey, we get Lamar. We're supposedly getting Lamar back. We get Roquan back. Hopefully get Parjat Pat back. We're getting some of these Ravens back that we know that can contribute to the winning ways here in Ravens. And can't wait to see it all shakes down. With that being said, enjoy the bye week and rest up. And we get another home game on the other side of it. Baltimore Ravens, the flock. How about it? Let's fly high.
This has been a production of Brando Cash Entertainment. Music by Brad Lepore and Daniel Kelly from the DBK Studio. For more information, go to brandocash.com.